Hi, welcome everyone. I'm Melissa Goodstein, and I'm the immediate past president of the New York Association of Collaborative Professionals. And I'm thrilled to continue my series, Collaborative Chats with Ivan Alter. And Ivan has been a longstanding member of NYCP. He's on the board of NYCP, and he's in private practice in where are you? Like Westchester, New York. You're all over in the metro area, right?
Yeah, but mostly Mount Kisco when I'm somewhere.
Right. And Ivan has a pretty full mediation as well as collaborative practice. And Ivan, you do not do any litigation based practice.
I do not.
Yeah, congratulations.
I
That's
know. I say that with great pride. Every time I say that, it gives me a little smile.
right, right. And you're also an amazing trainer too. You also are with the Center for Understanding and you do trainings on mediation, which and I've done a training with you on some different topics. One of them, the difficult conversations you've
Hmm.
done presentations on, and you're excellent. And I'm
Well, that's
just
very
thrilled that
kind.
you're
Thank you.
joining us today.
Thank you, Melissa.
So tell me a little bit about where you grew up, Ivan.
So I grew up in Westchester. I
Really?
am a local boy. In fact, I live in the town that I grew up in, which is, you
That
know,
is weird.
it's
That is
weird,
that.
right? But
Yeah.
I'll tell you why it's a little less weird because I we moved to the city just as I was starting high school. So I didn't
Oh,
go to high school here. So
oh,
it's
okay.
almost it almost is like I didn't grow up here because all my memories are, sort of, did that even happen? It was, these
Right.
really foggy early memories. So
That's
yeah,
really interesting. That's really interesting in that you moved out. Most people move to the suburbs to go to the schools in the high schools, and your family moved out to go back into the city. That's
what happened
interesting.
was I was the youngest of three, and both my brother and sister were out of school, and I was going to boarding school, so they no longer had any use for the schools, and they put the house on the market and went back to the city.
Wow, you went to boarding school.
I
How
did.
was that?
It was not great. I got to tell you, I don't think I was the ideal boarding school candidate. It was, it my it was a decision that my parents made with,
Oh, interesting.
that
Okay.
I didn't have a whole lot of say in,
Okay. All righty. And I
as
know that,
as
yes,
happens. Yeah,
that does happen. But I know we went to the same college. We kind of crossed, I think because I'm a little older, and you went to Brandeis and
I
then
did.
you went back to New York for law school. Did I
Correct.
get that right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So tell me, like, how did you land in the collaborative divorce space? Like, what was that trajectory for you?
Yeah. My parents are lawyers. My brother's
Oh,
a lawyer too. I come
oh my
from,
God,
I know, it's quite a thing. I'm really
that's
looking forward
intense.
to Passover tomorrow. Um, and my parents practiced together. My mom became a lawyer later in life and
Oh,
joined my
interesting.
dad in his practice. And they had this boutique litigation practice in Midtown in Manhattan that did a lot of divorce work. When I came out of law school, I had no desire to work with them and I went to a firm. But, being a junior associate was not so fun. And
Yeah.
after a little while, I was, envious of what I knew I could do if I worked with my parents, which was try cases and really be involved. So I joined them, which, for better or worse. And I found myself doing trials and appeals and all of this
Really?
great work, a lot of it in the matrimonial space and a lot of it in the commercial
Oh,
space. And it was great from a perspective of, um, the work that I was doing. And I really enjoyed uh, the relationships that I would build with the clients because it was a small firm. Every
mm,
case seemed like a personal matter. It was either
right.
divorce or it was a small business or, and that was terrific. But I had probably the same experience in matrimonial litigation that many people do, which is it's kind of a no-win situation. And
Mm,
that became really frustrating for me. Uh, I saw clients would come into people are never in a great place when they're getting divorced, but invariably at the end of the process of the litigation process, they'd be worse. Their relationship with one another would be worse. Their financial situation would be worse. Their level of just peace with themselves and their lives would be worse. And I didn't want to be a part of that anymore. And
Mm.
so I just left litigation and I left the law entirely because I kind of thought that that's what it was, and I had misjudged it and I didn't want to do it anymore.
Wow. And so that's so interesting working with your parents. That must have been a really interesting time,
Oh, it really
to
was. You can't imagine coming into work and, having the partner say, "You look tired. Have you had enough to eat? What's there's, yeah, there was no,
oh my
and
goodness.
there was no escape.
So how did you kind of when did you learn about like mediation? When did you learn about collaborative? How did you get learn about these processes?
So after I quit litigation, I said, well, I have to do something. And I actually made a complete um, detour into landscape design. And I went,
My God.
yeah, no, I got a master's degree, and I opened a landscape design company. And that was, that was very gratifying on a kind of personal level. But I quickly learned that that was no way to make a living, and no sort of business that I wanted to be in.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be an artist. I didn't want to be a contractor, and
Right,
there isn't a whole
right.
lot, So
Oh, that's so interesting.
right.
Wow.
So I'm like, so now what am I going to do? And I, yeah, I'd always thought about mediation and, heard about it. And I said, well, let me look a little more into it. And so I did a training with Jack Himmelstein and Catherine Miller uh, on mediation. And I was really, really moved by it. It was,
Wow.
the possibility of being able to do what I was trained in, what I knew I was good at, but in a way that was actually going to improve people's lives.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing. So the road was a winding one, but you settled and you found, where your calling or what resonated for you. That's really fantastic. So did you have like role models when you were kind of entering into this field?
Into mediation.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, yeah, I mean, I have to give Catherine Miller a tremendous amount of credit. Not only was she my original trainer, but she she and I did a few cases together early on. She sort of gave me some opportunities,
that's
and
great.
I mean, she's fantastic. So
She
there's
is.
there's no one,
That's
yeah.
And
And
now you're a trainer there at the center, so it's really coming full circle in
it
many
is.
ways.
And
Wow.
I don't know if you remember this, but you were actually my very first collaborative case.
I do remember it. I do remember that, Ivan. Yes. It was a I had a good experience
I
actually.
did as well. I mean,
Yeah.
it's funny when I look back on it because I don't know if you remember, but my client, the husband, like, had nothing but debt and ended up declaring bankruptcy at the end of the case, and I got paid nothing basically. But it didn't matter because the experience was so
It's
rewarding in so many
yeah.
ways. It let me understand what this thing was and how it worked and what it could be. And that was really, really valuable. And I really
Well,
enjoyed working. I think I was very lucky that I got to work with you on it, both because of your experience and also, you know, the experience of working with another attorney on a matter and genuinely enjoying talking to them and, feeling like you are working together towards something
yeah.
was completely novel to me, having come from litigation.
Wow. Wow.
And so
Yes, it
I'm very
is nice.
grateful for that.
Well, thank you. Well, you pay it forward because my first case was with Mary Ellen Linehan. And I remember she like took me under her wing and she was just so supportive. And I'm like, you know what? If I ever have that opportunity, I want to pay that forward because it just felt so good. And it was just a nice way to kind of begin a new way of practicing and to have that, true collaboration with professionals because these cases, Ivan, all of them are so unique and all of them are so hard. They're not easy.
No,
And when you have that professional support, it's transformative, not only for the clients, but the professionals and the outcome of the case when you're working together in such a
It
way.
makes all the difference. If the team is functioning well and, able to work together, I feel like there's nothing that they can't, that can't happen with the collaborative. And if the team isn't, I feel like
I
it's kind of doomed from the start.
it is challenging. And just talking about the work that we do, it is really hard, right? And is there things that you do off duty just to kind of de-stress and kind of make your day job a lot more manageable because it doesn't really leave you, it remains, but you have to kind of detox from it sometimes and just, clear yourself out a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I'm old enough to remember the days before emails and cell phones, and
Right.
I miss that
I
that
know.
separation that we used to be able to
I
achieve,
know,
you
right?
know?
I know. I know. It's really hard to kind of you're 20, it's 24/7 and you almost want to get back to like a flip phone at the very least. Or although somebody did ask me if I had a fax the other day, which I was like, what? Like I don't think so. But so do you have any hobbies or any
Sure,
activities
yeah.
that you do?
So what do I do? Well, I have three daughters, first of all, which,
Oh my God, you're busy. You
yes,
are
that
busy.
takes a lot of time. One's in college, two are in high school. So they, they're amazing, and that occupies a lot of my time. I'm actually, now that I'm within sight distance of empty nest, I'm trying to imagine how I'm going to
Oh,
fill all of
it's
that.
fantastic. I just want to tell you, it
Oh,
is.
sure, you're in like Italy and traveling the world and
No,
whatever.
no, no. I had an empty nester. I had one that didn't fly the coop for a little bit, but when she did, oh my God, it's a nice time. It's nice when they come back. They're all coming back tonight for the holidays and all of that. But it is nice. It's nice to have that time with your spouse and, just kind of reconnect and do different things that you put off because, you have there's a balancing and a juggling for sure.
Yes,
Wow.
I
So
am. I
you're a
am
good,
looking forward to that, and also kind of terrified, but we'll see.
I think you'll be okay. But so you're a girl dad,
I'm girl
and then you
dad.
and you
I,
have a dog, don't you? Because I
I have
remember
a
on that
dog.
case that
Yep.
I worked on, I thought you were getting a dog, or it was one case that you had just gotten your dog and it was like almost like another kid. I remember it was like a very big learning curve for you.
It's really fun. Like there was this weird confluence of events where my wife kind of left her job and we got a dog, and it like just it was way more than we bargained for. I think we thought, oh, this will be easy, and apparently, it's like that final, it was the tipping point. Our
Right,
lives, we were just holding it together, and then the dog was like,
right, right.
a little more
So,
chaos than we could handle. But Rosie is awesome, and
oh,
we're
it's Rosie.
we're
Okay.
very happy with her, and I think she's happy with us. It's funny, my youngest daughter said something funny the other day about her. She said, you know, we've had Rosie for 8 years now, and she's never said a word to us. And it's true. Like, I mean, it's comical,
Yeah,
but it's true. Like you live with this creature and you have this relationship and you put so much into it. And at no point do you even get a single word
I
from
know.
them to indicate,
Yeah, right.
what
And they're
their
so
perspective.
loyal. They're
Yeah.
so loyal and they're just yeah, it's amazing. So that's nice to have that. And it's really therapeutic to have a pet in that way
Yes.
too. Yeah, so that's nice. Um,
So in
so it
addition to that, I
yeah.
play guitar,
Oh,
I play
really?
softball. Um,
You play guitar,
I
really?
do. I
Oh,
do.
wow.
I used to play more publicly and regularly back at Brandeis and the various
Oh, at
venues around
Chumley's?
there at Chumley's. I was a regular, yeah. So
Oh
that was
wow,
really fun.
I saw one of your performances. Oh wow, I didn't know that. I just learned something new. So well, we're having a gala, the NYCP. Maybe you want to do, we're having, if you want to perform and do a song or two, you're welcome
Uh,
if you're thinking about it.
I hadn't been, but thank you. Are there going to be performances
Yeah,
by,
there are. Yeah, we're gonna have some entertainment, and so it'll be
but like
nice. So,
legitimate entertainment, not
well,
just
no,
like,
well, yes, well,
not
yeah,
just like
we're
me and Arnold with guitars or anything, right? It's
well,
no offense, Arnold.
No, we'll talk offline about that. But in any case, in terms of also, you've been practicing for how long then, Ivan? It's been already
It's
like 20 years or
in mediation collaborative, yeah, probably about 15,
it's
17, something like that.
really, so is there any like tips that, come top of mind if you were to say like, this is like a number one divorce tip, if you were to divorce in a better way?
To clients, to
Yeah,
parties.
to clients, if you were to give advice on how to do it and they're
Yeah.
coming to you for that first meeting and they're just, what is a tip that you think would be really
I
valuable?
I try to encourage them to take the long view of things.
Mhm.
This is a moment in time, and it feels like a divorce has a beginning, middle, and an end, and the process does. But the truth of what you're doing, all of of this part is the beginning, and it's only part of the beginning. That you have the rest of your life. Sorry, you have the rest of your life to uh, adjust to the changes that you're making and to live with the decisions that you're making.
Mhm.
And what feels like it's super important in this moment may not ultimately feel like it's super important.
That's great advice. Yeah, I really like that because you have this like tunnel vision, and you're just so stressed you can't see a way out. And having that perspective and from somebody and you're very calm. You have a great way about you, Ivan. That's what really makes it very pleasurable working with you. You're very, centering and calming.
That's
And
so that's so funny.
and
I can't wait to show this tape to my wife and say, "See?"
well, yeah, but I think so. That's how I experience it. But in any case, in terms of collaborative practice, is there a memorable experience that you have even with the NYCP? Because you've been a member for as long with the NYCP or collab. Is there something that comes to mind that's been very memorable about your time with the NYCP?
So, the NYACP is absolutely the first professional organization that I've ever belonged to where I actually like interacting with the membership, right? Which is,
That's
you know,
nice.
and which
Well,
is,
that's lovely.
in one sense, it feels like, oh, well, that's not saying very much, but that's saying a tremendous amount about a
It
professional
is.
organization, particularly one that is heavily populated with lawyers. I,
Yeah.
I never thought I would walk into a room full of people, half or more of them lawyers, and not have that experience where your whole body tenses up and you can't wait to get out. But to the contrary, it is the people. There's a common denominator among everybody who does this work. Nobody is in this because it's the fastest way to make a quick buck. Nobody is in this because it's self-aggrandizing. Everyone who does this because they think it's better for the clients, and they know it's hard, and they know that um, you know all the challenges that come with it. But that sort of genuine commonality that
Yeah.
everybody has, for me, is so valuable. And so it
Yes.
really makes it easy to be around and easy to let your guard down and to trust these people because
That's
they're
really
they're a
nice.
trustworthy bunch.
Yeah, I think so. And that's really nice. I'm glad that you had that experience has been so positive for you. And
It
it's a
has,
nice
for sure.
place to be yourself and to be accepted and to be amongst like-minded professionals, all there to kind of like be your biggest cheerleader and be there, and to help you out and to be as supportive. And it is about relationships. And in terms of your own life, is there like a best relationship for you in your life that helps keep you grounded and moving forward?
My wife and I have been together a very long time, as
Oh yeah.
she likes to remind me.
How
Um,
long?
we met in law school. We started dating in 1992. So I
So that's 32, 3,
30, 30,
33, 33
33 years
years.
this year.
That's a
Yeah.
long time.
Which is, I
Wow.
mean, in the I mean, that's
That's a really long,
lifetimes,
that
right?
is,
When
right?
you
You were
think about what the
babies.
world was like 33 years ago
I
and
know, I
compared to
know.
now.
Right. Oh, that's really nice. Yeah, I
Yeah,
met my husband in law school too, but he wasn't a lawyer, but that was okay.
even better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was even better, but it was a long time. Well, that's
No, but
great.
she's great and we make each other laugh and
That's all,
we,
that's
it,
amazing.
not that it isn't hard also, it is, but
But a sense of humor is always is very valuable. I really appreciate that. So in terms of, I know that we were talking before that you like to cook or you do cook
I
because you're
do.
cooking for Passover.
Mhm.
When people watch this, this is around the Passover time holiday. Is there like a signature dish that you have that your family requests year after year or that you enjoy making? Because I'm in one point going to be compiling a cookbook, maybe.
Oh, that's fun.
That is my hope.
That's fun. Well, I do have a dish that I make at Passover, that is the sort of the signature Passover dish, which is this braised short ribs, which is really, really good. It's sort of, it has a lot of the brisket pot roast sort of
Five. Yeah.
appeal to it, right? Because it's
Yes.
braised and fall apart, but it's very rich and satisfying and in
Oh,
this, you know,
all right.
delicious. And it's not tremendously difficult either because, once you get everything in the pot, you're done. It just
You're done.
gonna
Right.
cook itself.
Okay.
But
All right. Well,
more generally speaking, I have a smoker and I
oh,
love to smoke meat. That is one of my
that's
favorite things to eat really more than to cook, but I
okay.
enjoy
Oh,
cooking
that's
it as
nice.
well.
What kind of smoker is that? What is it? Is it what's that brand? Do you have that? What kind of smoker do you
It's
use?
so
It's
the brand, it's called a pit barrel cooker and
oh
it
wow.
basically looks like a big oil can, like a
Oh, I
big.
was thinking of like the
Yes,
egg
it's not
cooker.
an egg,
Okay, okay.
but
Yeah.
and but it is charcoal fired like an egg.
Oh, I like that. Yes,
And
I'm a Weber person myself. I mean, not like I
Mhm.
grill, but but we're Weber charcoal. Oh, wow. Interesting. Oh, wow.
Which
I
is
like
I
that.
mean, I think that really brings people together. Everybody
I
loves,
think so.
smoked barbecue.
Oh, that is
Except of
nice.
course my immediate family, which is so frustrating.
That's
My
too bad.
my wife was a vegetarian for a lot of years. My
Oh,
my
okay.
youngest daughter refuses to eat pork because she thinks pigs are too cute
Oh,
to
man.
be
Okay.
eaten. My
All
middle
right.
daughter is just super picky. So like basically I cook pounds and pounds of meat and then eat it myself and invite
Okay.
people over to eat it with me. Yeah.
You can always go to a farmer's market and have a booth or something, do a
Right.
little side hustle. I'll see you.
That could be what I'm doing in 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Ivan smoked meats. I would buy it. Right. Well, that sounds great. It sounds very relaxing and meditative too. It's like you have to be very patient. You're outside. It's a nice, it's like a ritual almost,
It is. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of trust, right? Because
Yes.
you put it in and it's going to be a lot of hours and you don't
Yeah.
really have a lot of control over
Yeah.
how it's
Yeah.
going and it
Yeah.
doesn't look great at first and
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
trust that the end product
I
is
like
gonna,
it. I
yeah.
like it. I like that. Yeah. That sounds, really, just really that it could relieve your stress doing that, a stress reduction kind of
Yeah.
way of looking at
And
it.
it makes me hungry.
And it makes you hungry and the food is good.
Yeah.
And in any case, so in terms of where you hope to be in 10 years, you've been in practice already 17, 10 years. Oh my God, can you even imagine? I know that you might even you'll be an empty nester by that point
Oh,
too.
for sure. I
But
better be.
where better be. Where do you hope to be in 10 years and where do you hope for collaborative practice to be?
I, well, let me start with where I hope for collaborative practice because I have a clearer vision for that anyway.
Yeah,
I,
okay.
for collaborative practice, I hope that it is, if not the default way to get divorced, it is at least known by everyone who's
Yeah.
considering divorce as an option. It is, it is baffling to me that I still talk to people who know lots of things, who have never heard of collaborative divorce, don't understand what it is, and think it's some kind of oh, that's a good new idea. And it's no,
Yeah,
it's really been doing this for quite a while.
for a
It
while,
just,
yeah.
yeah, it just doesn't have that, you know, omnipresent sort of,
Yeah, it hasn't had the traction as mediation yet.
yeah,
And I hope it does. That's
I
a
do
nice,
too. I do too,
yeah,
because I mean, look, if I or somebody who I loved was going through a divorce and asked me what process they should use, there's no doubt in my mind that collaborative is the offers the most support
I
and
know.
uh, you know, really is the best process potentially for the parties to be engaged in. It's heartbreaking that people don't know that that's even an option. So that's
Yeah,
where I hope in 10 years is that that's no longer part of the discussion. As for me, I, well, I don't know. Now you've had me thinking about smoking meats at a farmer's market, but I, I should,
but when the
I,
going gets a little rough, we'll know where to find Ivan.
yeah, I would love to be, to be a teacher, trainer,
Yeah.
cheerleader
Well,
for
you
the,
do. You're also a professor at Brooklyn Law School. I
I
forgot to
am.
mention that. Yeah. So you really, it sounds like teaching is like another place that you might, expand your practice maybe to include that.
Yeah, it's really rewarding.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I love to be able to sort of share with other people the things that I wish I had known when I
That's
was,
amazing. And
in
you
their
enjoy
shoes.
it.
Yeah,
And you're good at it. So that's
that's
amazing.
nice. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, listen, this has been wonderful, Ivan. I know you, but I even got to know you better. I didn't know you smoked meats and that you play the guitar. And I know other things and just your passion for your work and what really kind of moves you and has you enter into a field which is really hard and you're really providing a valuable service and there's a lot of passion and it's genuine and it's authentic and it was just an absolute pleasure speaking with you. Ivan, when people need to find you, you have like a website and
I
you're
do.
on the NYCP site. Is that the best way that people can reach you?
Absolutely. My website is ivanalter.com. So
That's easy. That's
easy to
easy.
find, and
Okay, great.
they can go from there.
All right. Well, this has been wonderful, Ivan. Thank you so much for your time today and good luck with those short ribs.
Thank you, Melissa, and you with your turkey.
Thank you very much. Take care.